Hi everybody, Old Dynamite here, live, large, and in charge at the beautiful Paragon Casino here in Marksville, Louisiana. And standing next to me is Opelousas' favorite son, Braxton King. Braxton, you are finally getting that championship opportunity that you have looked for so long. You have been on a roll as of late, especially with the armbar. That has been your go-to finish, and nobody has found a way to get away from it. What are we looking for out of Braxton King here tonight in this fight?
Man, honestly, I can tell you Dynamite, my last fight here, was exciting. Like you said, I finished with the armbar, and I went back home, and I sat down and I talked to my coach. I said, Coach, this is great, this feeling was great. I said, but Coach, I want to be tried by fire, Coach. And, Coach started telling me, he said, man, sometimes I pray. I said, Lord, show me I'm a warrior. And I feel like tonight, man, I have the great opponent in front of me, to bring that warrior out of me. And tonight, you guys will see nothing less than a warrior.
And I'll tell you, Braxton, I've known you since you first cut your teeth into this business. It was a great step for you making the change to the Performance Evolution fight team over in Lake Charles under Coach Josh Quayhagen, getting married to your lovely wife, and your belief and faith in Christ has lifted you to a whole nother level. We're all very proud of you, but hey, you've got a tough opponent here tonight. This young man is undefeated. He only had one loss his entire amateur career. So you've got the target on your back. He's gunning for you. Any predictions or anything we can look for out of you tonight?
As I told you last time, Dynamite, David had many giants, man, and tonight, once again, man, you'll see the power of my God, and hopefully he'll give me that same power to slay this giant as well.
Outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see him at our co-main event tonight. He will be vying for the AKA Professional Featherweight Championship right here tonight at the beautiful Paragon Casino in Marksville, Louisiana. Standing next to me is the other half of that Professional Featherweight Championship bout. And folks, he comes in tonight with an undefeated record, 3-0, representing Port City MMA and Brock Weaver Boxing, the man, the myth, the legend, Blake Anthony. So Blake, you're stepping in with a game opponent. You're on enemy territory here tonight. He lives right up the road in Opelousas. He's going to have friends and family here. How's that feel to you, man?
It feels familiar, I'm used to being the guy, I don't know, not at home, man. I trust in myself, my skills, and I'm going to come here and do work.
Well, your record speaks volumes about you. You were almost undefeated as an amateur. You only had one loss. Now you're undefeated as a pro. But a funny caveat, I got to do a little research. The last two fights for Braxton King, he has won by a nasty armbar. The only loss of your entire fighting career is by an armbar. So how you feeling? Have you done anything to make sure you're protecting yourself from that hold here tonight?
Man, that was a little minute ago, and I've filled all those holes up. I'm not worried about it, I'm not going to play in his game. At the same time, my counter wrestling is good enough to where I'm going to keep it in my ball house. I'm going to strike, make him pay any mistakes. He's going to pay for it, and he will not see me on the ground.
Well, I know you got the hands. I'm very familiar with your coach, Brock Weaver, former UFC fighter, and Jimmy Mills and his team does a fantastic job over at Port City. So I know you're locked out and ready to rock for this. How's it feel to get that title opportunity, man? Know that goal could be coming your way later tonight.
Highly grateful. I appreciate AKA for setting me up for this opportunity. Like I said, I knew this was coming. I'm confident in myself and the skills that I possess, so just a matter of time. So I'm ready.
All right, folks, there you have it. He is looking to keep that undefeated streak going and add a little gold to the collection here tonight from the Paragon Casino in beautiful Marksville, Louisiana. We'll see you there.
Well, we've got some serious life here inside the Paragon Casino and Resort for this one. Gold is on the line. Here we go, round number one. We saw some real swag from Anthony in the introductions there. And you said it, Matt. He's a very exciting fighter. Looking to see what he can put on display here against Braxton King.
Braxton on his bounce a little bit, switching stances from southpaw to orthodox. Flips up a little side kick there into the solar plexus of Blake Anthony.
Kind of showing off some karate.
Oblique kicks. I think that's a good move just to try to disrupt the base of Blake Anthony a little bit.
Braxton flipping that kick out there once again.
Low hands from Braxton King. Need him to be careful here as he gets close to the fence and doesn't have anywhere to bail to.
A kick to the body a moment ago from Blake Anthony.
Blake Anthony being patient, just trying to bide his time a little bit. A lot of activity from Braxton. The kick lands.
We haven't always seen Braxton so active in his stance, but he's certainly showing it off tonight.
This is kind of the not so secretive secret that everybody at Performance Evolution raves about, the type of striker that Braxton King is. Me personally, I've just never got to see it play out, so it's hard for me to know. But he's looking the part tonight.
Well, we know he's got great game off his back. 3 straight armbar finishes. He has 4 armbar finishes. In total, he had a couple.
Ooh, big right hand finds its mark.
As an amateur, but he just caught a big right hand from Blake Anthony. And a good calf kick from Anthony as well. King staying out of range. Got to be careful up against this cage, though. If Blake Anthony gets him cornered.
I just feel like he's kind of fighting with a long style as he's backing up too close to the fence, and that's exactly what Blake Anthony wants. Keep those hands low. Keep popping back and forth. But once you get close to that fence, you've got nowhere to go.
Braxton thought about throwing up a spinning kick. Deleted it midair.
I'd like to see a little more hand work from Braxton King. Get those hands moving first. Oh, big punch.
Left.
Drops Braxton King. He's in trouble here.
Blake Anthony
says, get back up.
Anthony just playing games. So you saw right there, Braxton was going to pull guard. Anthony wasn't going to let it happen.
Braxton definitely wanting to get him in his guard and try to tangle him in that web.
I mean, if I ate a left hand like that, I'd be trying to pull guard as well. That was a big shot from Blake Anthony that dropped Braxton King, but Braxton has weathered the storm. You could see one thing from Anthony. He did not want to get on the ground there with King. He wants to keep this on the feet. Over halfway through round number 1. We are now into our professional portion of the card, so 5 5-minute rounds on deck here for this championship bout. You can see Anthony, he's almost a little annoyed with Braxton King. He wants to engage with him a little bit.
I think if Blake would feint a little bit, work his way in, a big right hand finds its mark one more time. And again, Braxton just making the mistake of fighting as if he's at distance when he's not. Pulling his head back there and gets his head popped back like a Pez dispenser.
Did eat a big shot right there. Just over 1 minute to go in round number 1. Another left hand from Blake Anthony. You can hear the corner for Braxton King saying no, no, no. He was about to just go guns a-blazing into the fire. Nice right hand from King. Big looping right, misses its mark.
I don't mind that looping right hand. He just needs to keep his feet underneath him as he does it. We have to recognize what range we're at. As if we're in close range, those hands have to be in a better position. We can't play this karate style as the distance gets closed, as we get close to the fence. This is where Blake Anthony's having most of his success, is as Braxton backs up.
Final 15 seconds of round number 1. Been a good showing here in the early going for Blake Anthony. Round 1 is in the books, and more than likely, it is on the books for Blake Anthony.
Yeah, I got to think Blake Anthony had the better moments. That was kind of one of the good moments right there that Braxton had. Flipped that head kick around and kind of scooted around Blake Anthony's guard a little bit. But Blake just the more grounded fighter, understanding the range a little better. Right there, that nice right hand found its mark. And I think for Braxton, he needs to get back to that oblique kick. If he's going to play the range, he needs to do so from the center of the cage. He can't be backed up on the wall. He runs out of real estate, and that's when he gets caught with the bigger shots, just like that.
No, it's a great analysis there from the UFC's very own Matt Schnell. Ready for round number 2. And, you know, Matt, one thing that we've seen before with Braxton, he'll be behind in fights, and he'll find a way.
That is the truth.
We saw it as an amateur. We thought, you know, he was behind on the scorecards, and he pulled it out in the third round a couple of times. So this is a guy that you have to put away yourself because he's always dangerous.
That's just heart and you know, his faith, and he believes in himself, and that's why Braxton King is in title contention.
No doubt. Oh, that's another left hand from Blake Anthony, and he's going to let King back up.
Blake Anthony just being smart, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to come down and toil in your guard. If I drop you, get yourself back up, and let me see if I can do it again.
No, and I think that's just high IQ stuff here from Blake Anthony. He knows he's got the advantage here on the feet. You know, King hasn't offered up too much so far that's dangerous, but you don't want to get down there on the ground with him.
That's kind of one of the things that works against you with this hopping style. You're never completely grounded, and a guy that is secure in his stance can deliver a shot. And even just then when Braxton got dropped, I don't know if it was as much the concussiveness of the punch as it was his feet not being underneath him.
And it's one of those things you can almost time up too, right?
So big, heavy shots from Blake Anthony right there.
Blake's looking for the finish here. This is where he gets Braxton into real trouble.
Again,
against
Braxton just making mistakes here, acting like he's fighting at range when our back's on the cage. We have to get our hands up in those positions. I like the style. I like the karate stuff, but we're kind of in a smaller cage here. We really can't utilize that game as much as we would like to.
Blake Anthony
He needs to get his hands in a better position and box a little bit.
So far, all of the boxing has been in favor of Blake Anthony. He's landed the big shots. He's dropped Braxton King a couple of times. And he's certainly had the bigger moments. That was a good oblique kick. Braxton kind of stepped into that one. Blake Anthony trying to tee off here. Braxton King could be in trouble. Nice knee up the middle. Another.
Braxton King pointing at the ground.
Yeah, Braxton's ready to throw, but Blake Anthony out of range of every single one of those shots thrown his way.
Sharp jabs from Blake Anthony. He's really settling in here.
And he's starting to see everything as he blocks that kick by Braxton King. Decent punch there from Braxton. It's one thing we haven't really seen too much of from Braxton, attacking that lead leg, but there it is. It may be one place that he has to go in this fight, Matt.
Braxton having a decent moment there, was able to land a decent low kick of his for himself, and then as Blake Anthony returns one, he's able to check it. We need more of that. Little oblique kick from Blake Anthony says, my man, you got one, I got one too.
Yeah, that's now 2 on the board for Blake Anthony. 3. You don't see it too often, but certainly Blake Anthony having some success with it here in round number 2. Nice feint, and then came over the top of the left.
Little hip feint, showed him a kick. I tell you what, that lead leg does get close from time to time. It flips up there nicely. We need more work like that from Braxton King.
I will give Anthony some credit, though. Every single time he's getting that right hand up and he's ready for it.
Just in good fundamental position.
Yep.
Hands high. Fights by the books. As you can tell, Braxton, a little more of a traditional martial art influence here. Bouncing up and down. Looking for a little karate blitz right there, but as he does it, he eats a left hand for his troubles.
Yes, stiff left hand from Blake Anthony. Inside 60 seconds to go in round number 2.
And just the optics for Blake Anthony, making Braxton skirt the cage. And Blake's in the center. That's some of the best work I've seen from Braxton right there, just moving forward with punches.
Yeah, first time we've really seen him push Blake Anthony back in this fight. Good moment for Braxton King here towards the end of round number 2.
The way Blake is stomping on that oblique, he's kind of reminded me of George Masvidal a little bit, just being mean.
Maybe a little John Jones. He used to do quite a bit of that as well. 15 seconds remaining. Shot to the body from Blake Franklin. Blake Anthony threw a kick up there that King was ready for.
Blake
I know. I keep wanting to call him Blake Franklin. We had Blake Franklin on the call with us last week, or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. Another good round, though, for Blake Anthony, though, Matt. I mean, dropped Braxton King early on in that one and really seems to have this fight well in hand at the moment.
Definitely feeling comfortable out there, feeling himself a little bit. But better tune in, young man. I mean, like we've said, Braxton King been able to pull a victory out of the jaws of defeat before. And if anybody can do it, I know Braxton King can do it. Coach getting in his face a little bit, trying to tell him, hey, let's tune in here. Let's go out there and get it done.
Yeah, the Performance Evolution corner letting Braxton King know it's time now. He's certainly down, or more than likely down 2-0 on the cards. Yeah, 5 5-minute rounds here, so still 3 more rounds to work for Braxton King. Going to need to start to turn things around here in round number 3. One thing that we do know about Braxton, he's got a gas tank. He's not one of those guys that's going to tire out on you.
Definitely not slowing down.
We'll see what Blake Anthony offers up as far as the gas tank's concerned as we creep closer to the championship rounds here at AKA 44. Another oblique kick. Braxton just bouncing around here, really offering nothing up. I'd at least like to see a jab or something, you know, let it go. And instead he elects for the head kick and gets body slammed.
Tries to jump a triangle there, and I got to be honest, it wasn't too far off. Blake Anthony doing a good job of finding his posture, getting right back to his feet, though.
Another oblique kick, and now Braxton King switches back orthodox. We've seen Braxton switch up his stance throughout the fight.
Little head feint, trying to work his way in. No dice.
No, Anthony's just seeing everything right now. I mean, he's had his eyes wide open. Everything Braxton King has thrown his way, he's been ready to deal with. He continues to stalk King around the cage.
Side kick finds its mark for Braxton. Braxton standing so bladed. I would like to see more side kicks or hook kicks. That's what the point of that stance is actually for, is to open those attacks up.
Anthony digging the toes in the body a moment ago.
Again, that left leg flipping its way up right into the guard of Blake Anthony. Good high hand position. The more fundamental fighter is kind of getting the better of it right now. But these things are close. Another oblique stomp.
I mean, he's just adding them up now as Blake Anthony. We saw Braxton King attempt a couple early. It's been all Blake Anthony in the oblique kick department, and there's a left hand. Lead left lands for Blake Anthony.
Sharp jab from Blake Anthony, snaps the head back of Braxton King.
The corner for Braxton King saying it's time, Braxton. He does have to start to mount some kind of offensive production here. He just walked into that. Blake Anthony not going to the ground at all. He'll have none of that. And it's just smart by Blake Anthony. There's no reason to go down there when you're in control. You know, Matt, I don't know that I would hate seeing, oh, it's a nice right hand over the top from Braxton King. I wouldn't hate seeing Braxton maybe try and pull guard again, as crazy as that sounds. I mean,
oblique kick buckles the leg of Braxton King. Those are adding up. Straight right hand finds its mark. Braxton trickling a little blood out of his mouth.
Inside 90 seconds to go in round number 3. Another oblique kick.
Braxton just beat by alignment. He's standing so bladed. That oblique is just there to be stomped on.
And
Blake Anthony.
It has been.
Yeah. Heavy punches there from both men. Jab
Nice
finds its
jab.
mark.
Stiff jab from Blake Anthony, follows it up with a calf kick. And that'll make Braxton King switch to southpaw.
I also wouldn't mind seeing, like, Braxton take a shot, change it up a little bit. How about a level change, something?
Sure, something.
He's kind of...
Another oblique kick. That oblique is going to be hurting tomorrow. But it's not about tomorrow, it's about tonight. Can Braxton King find a way to steal the belt away from Blake Anthony, who's well ahead in this fight right now?
Blake Anthony just being clever, just fighting his fight.
High IQ, not making any mistakes out there. Great defense, too.
Just hands in a good spot, even when Braxton's able to amount a little bit of offense. Blake doing a good job, keeping his hands in a good position. Most of the shots skating off of his defense.
3 rounds in the books, and another strong round by Blake Anthony. One would think that he is ahead 3-0 right now on the scorecard. And here's a replay from our guy Sam, producer-director tonight. Doing a great job with our replays. Big thank you to everyone that does production here for American Combat Alliance. And right there, Matt, he just kind of walked into that one, too. That was a little bit more of a stumble. Caught the left hand, was off balance with Braxton. He went down.
But again, like we were talking about, it's just not having our feet underneath us as we're gauging those attacks. There's that oblique kick that buckled the leg of Braxton King. And he's had some good moments, but just a little too loosey-goosey with his stance and his positioning.
Does he come out right here? Let's see.
We have hit the championship rounds of our co-main event here at AKA 44. Blake Anthony, Braxton King. Ooh, that was a dirty oblique kick.
Little level change there from Braxton. I would have liked to have seen that a little bit earlier, just to get Blake to think about something different.
Got to show him something, put something in his mind that is, going to be dangerous. Right now, Braxton King has offered up not very much on the feet. Nice kick.
Neither opponent looks tired either.
No, both guys really have a good gas tank. Michael Boyer hanging out with us here. Cage side for this co-main event. That's a good right hand. I think it may have found its way around the guard and clipped the ear.
Hooked across. Oh, heavy punches.
Those were some big shots. Braxton King still standing,
Now
throwing back
these guys
himself.
are mixing it up.
Oh, spinning back fist in there as well. Just missed the mark. Talk about a fight on hand now. Braxton King willing to stand and bang with Blake Anthony, and the fans at the Paragon getting their money's worth. That brought him back to life. Another oblique kick. And at least one good thing here for Braxton, he does sense the urgency. You can see it. He's willing to throw those shots to try and equalize this fight.
Yeah, you could tell he's not sitting in a place of delusion. He's well aware that he's behind.
I honestly think it's okay that he's behind.
We've seen him in this position before.
He's ready to turn up. Let's see.
He certainly is trying to turn up here in round number 4, but so far Blake Anthony's just been game for everything being thrown his way. Braxton nearly got a hold of that leg. And you can see pure urgency from Blake Anthony whenever those situations develop. He does not want to deal with them.
Kind of high stepping out the position.
Yeah. Maybe high stepping his way to a championship belt here in just a moment, halfway through round number 4. His corner telling him that it's time to sling it. Performance Evolution trying to push Braxton King forward. Inside calf kick lands. Shot to the body from Blake Anthony. Blake Anthony trying to stay undefeated as a professional.
One of the best punches Braxton's landed this fight right there in that exchange.
Eats a 1-2 combo from Blake Anthony that time. Anthony starting to talk to Braxton King out there a little bit. Just over 60 seconds remaining, approaching the final round of this 5-round championship fight. Again, though, the defense is there for Blake Anthony, and then a left hand at the end of that exchange. .40 seconds remaining. Anthony has stood in the center of the cage most of this fight and has pushed Braxton King back.
The last solid exchange Braxton had was pushing that straight left out and trying to bring that left leg right behind it. It came close. I would like to see more of that. Again, we just have to diversify our attacks a little bit. We've kind of fallen into the same patterns over and over again here.
Probably the best round so far, though, I would say, for Braxton King.
3-1?
Yeah, I would say 3-1, maybe 4-0, though still. Blake Anthony had some moments, and that might be something that could make it 4-0 Blake Anthony, but certainly the best round we've seen so far from Braxton King, Matt.
Agreed.
And we've reached the moments of desperation here for Braxton King. You're at best down 3-1. At best, more than likely 4-0. I have it 4-0 in my book. And you can see, I mean, they're trying to get Braxton fired up. I got a feeling he's about to go out on a shield and throw everything he has out there. You can see there in our picture-in-picture, a really cool moment from Braxton King in his corner, trying to get him rallied up for this final 5 minutes against Blake Anthony. But Blake Anthony has just been too calm, too cool, too collected out there, and he has just dealt with everything.
Just fighting behind his fundamentals, you know. Fighting's not knucklehead stuff. The guys that are the best at it are the guys who kind of stick to the plan.
Here we go, final
Keep their hands
5.
in a good high position. Fire straight punches.
I'm curious to see.
Braxton's round, right?
Yeah, it has to be Braxton's round. He's certainly behind on the scorecards. He'll need a finish. They're having a conversation out there in the middle of the cage right now. And if you're Blake Anthony, obviously you know you're ahead here. You just want to continue to be solid fundamentally, defensively, and hold on to this thing through 5. Braxton's just got to go. It doesn't really matter what you're throwing up. I think he's just got to go here.
A little flashy spin kick from Braxton. That's just not what we need right now. We need to land something substantial.
They threw a right hand over the top that may have partially landed.
It's good work there from Braxton King.
I'd have liked to see more of that early on. But now he's in. He's got to. It's good. And I don't think Blake Anthony's going to let this go to the ground. It's one thing we've seen.
Big punches land for Blake Anthony as he wades his way in.
Maybe a knockout going the other direction as Blake Anthony's landing some big shots.
He's not going to let you go to the ground, is he?
No, if Braxton King wants to win this fight, it's going to have to be a surprising.
Another right hand finds its mark again. Left hand, right hand.
Let's go.
Oh, Braxton drops him. Holy cow.
Braxton King lands a shot that could equalize this fight. He's still got a lot of work to do, though. What an exchange between Blake Anthony and Braxton King.
Blake Anthony just for a second kind of losing his composure.
Yeah, he got
biting
caught up in
down.
that.
Yeah, biting down. And we saw it a little bit maybe it was the last round of the round before,
third round,
where he kind of bit down a little bit, got a little wild, and let things get away from him. Braxton able to capitalize for a second, but we need much more.
Early on in that exchange, Blake Anthony cracked him hard, and I think he saw a finish, tried to go for it, couldn't get it, and ultimately he was the one that got knocked down there.
Landed a couple of good straight rights, followed by left hooks. I think it was a straight left that sat him down. Braxton just finding his moment.
Halfway through this final round, AKA gold on the line. Can Braxton King find a magical moment in the final 230? Oh, stiff jab.
Snapped him.
That high kick, he's tried it a lot of times, but I'll tell you what, Blake Anthony has been ready for it every time. Oh, biggest kick landed of the fight for Anthony. 2 minutes to go. Braxton King's going to have to let everything hang out here over the final 120 seconds. His corner calling out desperately for him to go forward. Easier said than done with Blake Anthony standing in front of you.
Two jabs.
Yeah, just touched him up right there at the end. 90 seconds. Every single fight so far today has not made it to a decision. This one, about a minute away from that now. Blake Anthony beating on his chest there. Braxton King misses with a couple shots.
Straight right hand to the body from Blake Anthony.
Braxton's corner saying, go, 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 desperately calling it out. Blake Anthony ready for an exchange, it appears.
48 seconds remaining.
Final 45.
Flips a high kick up.
Oh.
Big punches from Blake Anthony, swinging them.
Blake Anthony looking for a big moment himself. We've got a fight on our hands here. Final 30 seconds. Again, great defense by Blake Anthony. Braxton's he's got to let it all hang out here. Everything has to be thrown at Blake Anthony. Anthony doing a good job there, just staying out of range. Final 10 seconds. Spinning kick at the end for an exclamation point. And Blake Anthony will have his hand raised momentarily as your new AKA Featherweight champion of the professional ranks. Great stuff by Blake Anthony. I mean, from start to finish, he was so fundamental, Matt.
Great performance by Blake Anthony, just sticking to the process, fighting behind his jab, trying to find his cross, staying in his stance.
Nice.
There was the exchange where he got dropped. It was a wild exchange. Braxton King able to find his moment.
Them boys are throwing right there.
Just a little too late for Braxton King. He had some good moments. The young man has a bright future, certainly had showcased some skills. I've been wanting to see Braxton striking. We got to see a lot of it tonight. Great stuff, great fight by these boys.
Yeah, great fight for both guys. Blake Anthony got the Mobile, Alabama crowd with him over there, giving him some big cheers.
Cheers to Blake Anthony, man. That was a great fight.
Great fight, and credit to Braxton. Look, Anthony is a hell of a fighter. He put together a great performance. Braxton was game the entire time, went toe-to-toe with him. It ultimately goes the distance, and we will now await Dynamite, who has your result in hand. He's got the microphone, and he's headed into the cage.
Knocked Braxton down many times and let him right back up. I mean, what a sport.
What a great fight between these two. Let's find out who's about to walk out with the gold.
Casino, get off your ass and on your feet. Give both of these warriors a round of applause.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, all three judges have seen this bout the same way. therefore declaring your winner by unanimous decision. Fighting in the blue corner, Bout Anthony. Blake is your new AKA Featherweight champion.
Nice moment between the guys, a little sportsmanship. It's hard to trade paint with another man for 25 minutes and not come out of it with a monicum of respect. Great performance by Blake Anthony. The champ is here.
The champ is indeed here, and it was really a masterful performance by Blake Anthony. He was in control the whole time, knocked Braxton down, I think 3 times early on, never went to the mat with him. High IQ stuff, fundamentally sound the entire time.